Hi everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Closing Report for January 21st, 2016. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss, here to talk a little markets here. This is the daily time frame of the ES. We talked about the 1846 composite low volume node here, how price had seen a significant rejection of levels below that, namely right at the 1811 quarter level, the 1814, which was a key level, the intraday level of 1805s. All these levels here combined to create a high confluence of zones, and what we saw was price push higher on the intraday basis. And from there, during the previous session's closing report, and also this morning, I talked about bulls wanting to defend a pullback into the zone between 1830 and 1846 for a shot at seeing a reversal into 1921 and 1939. And today you actually saw several rotations into this area that were defended throughout the session. A late attempt to hold above the previous week's close failed. So if I bring up the previous week's close, here it is. And you can see that price attempted to hold above that close and just failed here to the close. But everything here has been offered anyways. Right now, the important part was holding this area right here for bulls. Bulls needed to be able to hold that zone for a shot at reversing price higher. I think a failure to hold above that zone easily leads to a retest of these lows with a potential continuation of this trend. So we've seen a significant move here since these highs around 2070s. We've dropped significantly over that time, but we haven't really put a statement low in. I believe that this previous session here is that statement low, and right now bulls are defending the zone I mentioned for a shot higher. So this was definitely enough to get in and scale out and get to profitable, if not break even. And from there, you should be holding a trade that's either break even toward 21s or profitable. I believe that if price breaks below these lows, then we could easily see a price auction back toward the previous lows here and perhaps find the LVN at 1800 for another bounce opportunity. So don't be married to this long position here. It's going to fail below the recent lows. But if bulls can continue to defend this zone, I do believe that we have a shot to see 21 and 39 very quickly, very soon. Let's take a look at the intraday time frame. On the intraday time frame, here's the previous week's high price, or the previous week's close rather, 75.5. Price rallied into that level, rallied to new highs, attempted to hold above the close, but just couldn't finish it off. Instead, saw price break back down to the previous session's close and settled a little higher. So today was a fantastic digestion day. You can see the profile right here, a nice meaty, chunky profile in the middle. The 5-day profile you can see right here. That's a significant zone right there. Very dense, with a lot of volume traded in that area, which means the next move that's coming will be swift. It will be swift and significant. I believe that move will be to the upside, given the signature that we've seen off the lows, how this thing turned and rallied, and then how the pullback into our zone held. This is OTF responsive buying signature right here. And if this zone continues to hold, we could even see price drop into 1830. I believe that 1830 is the last line of defense here. And if 1830 still is an area to test out if it gets to that, but I believe that right now, as long as price remains above this zone, we're likely headed higher back into 1921 and 1939. Again, failure to hold 1830 here would suggest a retest of these lows with a likely shot at testing that 1800 CLVN down below. That would be the next area to test for a near-term long, should it come to that. All right, that's it for the ES. If we take a look at crude oil today got a little semblance of an intraday rally, but that's all it was, an intraday rally. This thing is still beat down big time. All bounces are to be offered. Right here is a key level at 30.14s. Price pushed through that level and has come back and is redefending now. The bears are redefending at that level from below. That level also coincides with the previous week's close and the previous week's low zone, so it creates a very heavy area where bears are going to look to defend. Even if price pushes beyond that zone, it's not much higher before you're likely going to see this thing get defended and sent lower. If you want to look at kind of the moving average here, The faster moving averages have price coming in at about 30.97. Any move into that zone starts to trigger likely programs looking to sell in the direction of the current trend. Now, if we take a look at the intraday time frame for crude oil, you can see how the reversal kind of turned out. It was kind of an early go this morning, where things were consolidating and coiling heading into the report. Price got an upside break and held the top of that range right as the report was coming out, and boom, we saw a huge move right to the previous week's low. So right now, 29.19 is going to be a key zone. That's an area right here where bulls want to defend for a push higher. Failure to do so opens up a move into 28.36. So look for that type of behavior heading into the upcoming session. Taking a look at gold, higher time frame look at gold. We've been a champion here of a likely rally back toward recent highs. And what we've been talking about was how price went bid off of value here at 1072 and pushed through the top of this range. I mentioned a pullback would likely be defended. First shot at seeing a move into 2380 and 1130, and from there a likely continuation into 1169. That's been our idea here ever since price was coiling within this range late in December, and right now we're positioned to the upside. We also talked about this rounded bottom, and the defense of the bottom of that zone here is leading to a nice potential swing move up. We have an inside day that formed here as price traded between the previous week's close and the previous week's high. This inside day, a breakout from that range will likely spark the next 2 to 3 day move in the direction of the break. So any push beyond 1108 likely squeezes into 1130 very quickly. All right, taking a look at the NQ now. Here's the NQ in a daily time frame. Again, another significant rejection tail. What we were looking for in the NQ was any pullback into 40.72 for an opportunity to buy. And we never quite got to that level. Price did bounce above that zone. We were able to spy an awesome opportunity as it was developing here intraday, but it didn't quite reach the target zone of 40.72. But what we saw was a solid rally back to highs, a big time intraday range, and then things kind of came back toward the center for kind of what looks like an indecision day. You definitely see some rejection of these previous highs, but more importantly, price held our zone, and this huge tail event right here is still clearly evident and in play. So what I mentioned before was the fact that this significant tail form, the previous session, we were looking for buyers to defend 40.72, the CLVN here, on a pullback for a shot at seeing a move into the midpoint of the range, and that's 43.40. The midpoint of the range being that previous high to this low. I believe that this impulse move could be the key range that develops. If not, then it's not. But I believe that right now, with bulls defending this zone, reaching 43.40 is a high probability play here. Now, keep in mind, we've been in a very, very significant downtrending market. We're seeing current price being offered above the previous session's high, and that's important. But, you know, if we want to be on the bright side, we got a higher high and a higher low. So that's something to look forward to. We didn't close above the high. We saw rejections, but that's to be expected in a downtrending market as the bears have had the upper hand. I think this level is the more important level right here. As long as that area remains defensed, I believe there's a shot to get right back to 43.40 with a major scaling point right here at this HVN at about 42.75. All right, if we take a look at the intraday time frame here, now keep in mind, if we fail to hold that LVN right here, it's going to be a quick move into 39.65, and 39.65 would be the next LVN to watch for a short-term buying opportunity. All right, taking a look at the intraday time frame just real briefly here. This was a significant buying opportunity early in the session, and it was kind of off of our zone. And what we were looking for in the trading room was any bounce off of the bottom of value. And at the time, value was right about here, and price came very close to it, and then bounced. And when it bounced, we were looking for the first pullback, and we were looking for trapped bears to come into the market. And once they were clearly evident, that's when you saw the major squeeze bar here, and then the race was on. And the expectation was for price to rally back toward recent highs of 41.74, and that played out and then some. So it was a solid move here off of the zone. And that was just the third of 2 bounces that came off of that zone, each to varying degrees of success. So those key levels definitely worked out for the current session. And now we got to see how they play out in the upcoming day. Obviously, if we build out to a higher time frame here, you can see that price is holding above the zone that we called to buy. So 40.59.75 to 40.72 was the zone. And price held above that area and rallied and is now holding some more. I do think we could still come into this area and still be swing bullish. Bulls need to hold this zone, in my opinion. And if they can continue to seal it and you see absorption here, that could lead you to a major squeeze event. Again, back toward the 43.40s. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the week of trading. Good luck and trade well.